Back here in Springfield, it's the Illinois State Fair. Every year, kind of a rite of passage in this part of the country and a rite of passage in the ARCA Menards Series.
What a great vibe, though. We were at the concert last night. Def Leppard did an awesome job last night. It was fun.
You came through with fantastic tickets. I got to give you a lot of credit there, Phil, as always. And they played the hits, and they sound great still after all these years.
But what a great venue. Packed house for that.
Butterbean Queen, 27 years of age from Chesapeake, Virginia. By virtue of owner's points, there was no practice or qualifying. He is able to get on a row one and will have the pole position with Max Reeves in that Joe Gibbs Toyota on his outside.
Yeah, Max, one of those drivers with hardly any dirt track experience, a little bit at Millbridge, but has done such a great job in this 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Row 2, Lawless Allen, LeVar Scott. Brent Cruz is driving the 70. That's an interesting story we will get to.
Here's our front row, as you mentioned. Brendan Queen and Max Reeves will lead us to the green. Lawless Allen has had an outstanding season. Comes in here second points, doing an awesome job there for the Venturinis. LeVar Scott also in row 2. Row 3, Sam Corey, his first start on dirt, and Brent Cruz. Watch that 70 car, Brent.
Running for Nitro. Usually he's JGR, so because he has had a relationship since he was just a kid with Nitro, they are allowing him to run this race here today in the 70 car.
A lot of apprehension on these drivers' minds. Obviously, they saw the sportsman cars out there, packed the track in a little bit, but I don't know about if I want to be that guy that gets down to turn 1 first. You see how much grip they have down there.
Well, we're about to find out, and Butterbean really quickly is going to get a feel for what he's got in that 28 car, and all season long that 28 car has been the car to beat here in the ARCA Menards Series. Pace car pulls off. Car's up to speed, green flag in the air here at the Illinois State Fair. And it's Butterbean on the inside with a good start, a good launch on the outside. Getting too wide was the 18 car of Max Reeves, and he drifts back to 4th. Good start for LeVar Scott and Lawless Allen.
Max Reeves is going to lose a little bit more ground, it looks like. Again, so little of experience at a racetrack like this. Can't imagine with no practice just driving off in turn 1 like Max had to do.
So it's Butterbean Queen gunning for his 6th win of the season here today. Off turn 4, and he leads the first lap, and by a wide margin. A great launch for that 28 car. Lawless Allen in 2nd, and then LeVar Scott in the 6 car runs 3rd.
We talk about our 3 keys to this race. These are bias ply tires, they're general tire block. Dirt track tires, but bias ply. So you want to make sure the consistency of those tires from set to set when you change 4 tires at that or halftime break.
Opportunity for our fans at home to see your keys to the race here, Phil, going in.
You want to keep that center turn. You want to keep that car turning. Even though we're on a dirt track and those cars look halfway sideways, you still want to make sure that front end is positive and turn. And then you don't want to be rooted off the bottom. We saw that happen to LeVar Scott at the end of the race last year. He restarted late on in 2nd. He got shoved off the bottom, ended up finishing 6th.
Something has flown off one of the cars in that front pack, and it's flying around the track in turn 1. See if they bring the caution out. There's definitely going to be debris on the track in turn 1.
I've seen 2 or 3 cars, and now a 3rd car that has hit that debris. We stay green for now.
Stay green for now, and Butterbean Queen in the 28 car remains in the lead off turn 4.
All the drivers, all the crew chiefs say you got to run the bottom. You got to stay right on the bottom of the racetrack. Brent Cruz already now up to the 2nd spot. Look how low they are with that left front fender right against that inside wall. Cruz that guardrail.
Just started 6th, and you're right.
And here he comes. Look at that momentum up off of turn number 2 for Brent Cruz.
Asked a couple of guys on the infield earlier today, who's the car to beat? Definitely that 70 car. I said, is it the driver or the car? Both.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, Brent Cruz is a winner, former winner here at Springfield. They also won at DuQuoin, so he's won on both of our dirt tracks. And now he's trying to grab that lead from Butterbean.
He's won at Phoenix already in IRP this season as he goes to the outside of the 28. And caution is out. Here in the Springfield 100, running early laps here. The biggest mover so far has been that 70 car, Brent Cruz. He was right at the back bumper of the 28 when the yellow flag flies for the first time.
I think the ARCA officials were hoping that piece of debris would blow out of the way, but it's really just about where the right sides would be in the second groove.
It was one of the cars in that lead pack. It'll be interesting to see which car that piece of debris broke off and flew off of, but our first caution of the day. Early on here in the Springfield 100, Butterbean Queen going for his 6th win of the season at the point. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Bounty. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. Back here at the Illinois State Fair. Coming to green next time around. Early on, our first caution because of debris in turn number 1. The 70 car has been impressive so far. Brent Cruz, 17-year-old from Davidson, North Carolina, and an early nominee for Reese's sweet move of the race for that 70.
Yeah, you mentioned he started in the 6th spot. Here he is underneath the 6th of LeVar Scott. That is when he grabbed the 3rd spot, and he made his way well on past LeVar Scott up into the 2nd position.
Passing Lawless Allen in the 20 car, who had a great start of his own at the drop of the green flag. So Brent Cruz, a good story early on. And again, visit ARCARacing.com. Monday, 3 Eastern to see who's crowned Reese's sweet move of the race. Pace car pulls off. Green flag back in the air here in Springfield. And again, a good launch for the 28 of Butterbean Queen.
Let's see if Brent Cruz wants to test that outside. He's not. He's going to follow. He will try to get underneath our leader coming off the corner to try to beat him down to the corner so he can keep the bottom of the racetrack. As you can see, the cars now, pretty good corner there for LeVar Scott in that 6th car.
Seen this races at this track where dust is a big problem. I don't think that's going to be a big issue here today because of that rain.
A lot of the people that know dirt said that definitely is going to. There's definitely more moisture in the racetrack, and that's going to help that situation. Good battle right here, though, between the 20 of Lawless Allen and Max Reeves. Max is learning, like drinking from a fire hose on dirt here.
That's right. Max Reeves had a tough restart at the start of the race at the drop of the green flag. He began on the outside of row 1, fell back to 5th immediately.
I heard his younger brother Rue give the command for the Cup race at Richmond last night. Awesome. Did a nice job. Yeah,
that was awesome. Our colleague Austin Dillon with a big win, 2 years in a row now at Richmond.
Certainly did a great job last night.
So it's the 70 Brent Cruz again right there at the left rear quarter panel of Brendan Queen. This will be a fun battle for the lead, working lap 10 of 100 in the Springfield 100, and caution out for the 2nd time.
Oh no, Isabella Robusto with an issue. That's over in turn 3. You can see the damage to the right front corner of her car.
I was talking to Danny Johnson, her crew chief, who took over in the middle of the season going back to Berlin, and he was singing her praises and the job that they have been able to do together over the last several races, with 4 top 5s and a 6th place finish as well, coming off 8th at Watkins Glen.
8 top 10s in a row. 8
That's
top
right.
10s in a row.
She's still learning on road courses, and they were excited to see what she would be able to do on dirt here today.
Remember, she finished 2nd in this race last year, so she's been really good on dirt, but unfortunately that looks like it may be terminal for her. She's not been able to get that car refired yet.
20-year-old from Fort Mill, South Carolina. You mentioned 10 straight top 10s, 7 top 5s. So problems for the 55 car for Venturini Motorsports and Isabella Robusto. Our 2nd caution here in the ARCA Menards Series from Springfield on FS1. Back here at the Illinois State Fair in the Springfield 100 early laps, working our 2nd caution. Red Stover alongside Phil Parsons here in the middle of August. Great to be back here in Illinois, and our points leaders coming in. Brendan Queen with a wide lead on Lawless Allen.
See LeVar Scott hanging in there in 3rd. Then it drops back to Kitzmiller and Isabella Robusto, who certainly just had a problem. That's going to hurt her. Again, we talked about her season. It really started off with trouble, had some wrecks that weren't her making. You can see her car being towed off now. It was towed from the incident side over in turn 3.
Damage to the right front of that 55, so she's on the hook. Disappointing for her. All right, so Max Reeves making his third start of the season at Elko back in June was his last one. He was impressive in that 18.
He certainly was. He finished second in his debut. Here he is grabbing a lead on lap number 2 from Butterbean. A guy that had so much short track experience. Matt Reeves, only 15 years old. Then LeVar Scott was really strong late, had the lead. Actually had a mechanical problem with his car and lost several different positions. But Max Reeves was able to drive around at the end to get that first win.
Back-to-back races there in June. This is the first time today that we're seeing him since then. He was runner-up at Berlin, and then the next week won there at Elko. And his driving coach is Bobby Labonte, so always fun to see Bobby at the track.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm not sure how much help Bobby will be on dirt here, because we talked to Bobby down in the garage area. Bobby doesn't have a whole lot of dirt experience like a lot of us don't, but anytime you can have a Hall of Famer like Bobby Labonte advising you, you're in pretty good shape.
Max Reeves, the subject of our Bounty Rookie Spotlight. You mentioned just 15 years of age from Trinity, North Carolina, running for JGR. Off turn 4. Green flag back in the air here in the Springfield 100. The control car remains the 28 of Butterbean. He has led them all. But impressive early on has been that 70 of Cruz. He starts on the outside here of row 1. But again, a good launch for Butterbean.
See, Cruz is just going to drop inside. He knows how much of a gamble it is to go on the outside. You can see that car on the outside right there losing positions. Brent Cruz said, I'll take my chances trying to get underneath Butterbean up off the corner versus trying to drive around the outside.
LeVar Scott settles into third. That 20 car Lawless Allen had a good start to the race. Got into second. He's in fourth at the moment. And Max Reeves in the 18 is running fifth.
Good battle right there. That's Kelly Kofsky, the 16 car, trying to get inside that 18 of Butterbean Queen. Kelly Kofsky had a lot of people down in the garage area helping him. Grant Enfinger is here. Kenny Schrader's in here helping Kelly Kofsky. Look at him trying to grab that spot.
Trying to get underneath the 18 of Max Reeves. They're going to run here for Kelly Kofsky in the 16. Down the backstretch.
Always strong when we come to these dirt tracks. That's primarily what he's done over his career in the ARCA Series. You see him slide up the racetrack. He opens up the bottom again. For Max, he had the spot, then slid off the bottom, and that's what happens when you lose the bottom of the racetrack. How about that battle for the lead? Not anymore. Brent Cruz was able to get underneath Butterbean. Coming off turn 4.
Brent Cruz in the 70 running for Nitro. He's in the lead for the first time in our first lead change of the afternoon here at Springfield. Cruz last 3 finishes, including that second place at Iowa, top 10 at Watkins Glen last week. And now Cruz is going to try to run away at Hyde ahead of Butterbean there in the 28. LeVar Scott wants a piece of that second place action in the 6 car.
Lawless Allen hanging in there as well. Again, been really impressed. I say it every week with Lawless Allen. Doesn't matter what kind of racetrack we go to, he keeps piling up the good finishes. Holds down that second spot in points to Butterbean.
9 top 10s, including that win at Talladega for the 20 car of Lawless Allen.
We talked about LeVar Scott and how good he was last year. Was running second on the very last restart. Got shoved up off the bottom at a good fast race car. And he's got another fast race car. He's probably a little bit better right now than Butterbean. But again, trying to figure out a way to get around when they're hanging on that guardrail. Caution out again. Got a car sideways over in turn 4. I believe that might be the 31.
That'd be Tim Goulet.
Yeah, there was a driver change. Tim ended up getting. Ooh, look at Lawless Allen. Look at the damage to the 20 of Lawless Allen.
Allen got caught up in something there on the turn. Big time damage to the 20 car. And that's a huge storyline for the man who came in running second in points.
Literally just talking about the season he's had and how good he's been on all sorts of racetracks, and a tremendous amount of damage to that Toyota. Wow.
He was trying to get around the 31, and that is a tough turn, and you're really blind at times, and obviously didn't see that the 31 was sideways there in turn, there in the turn.
Unfortunately, pulls it behind the wall. What a tough break for Lawless Allen. Again, the closest pursuer. We just talked about that to Butterbean.
31 got sideways in turn 4, and Lawless Allen had nowhere to go and destroyed his car. Meantime, the 70 car has moved from 6th to the front in the first 1/5 of this race.
He keeps piling up some sweet moves too, doesn't he?
And a Reese's sweet move of the race nominee, his second one so far.
That's when he grabs the lead. He got underneath Butterbean coming off turn 4, was able to make that pass, beats him down to turn 1. Stays right against that inside guardrail. That's what all the drivers say. You got to be against that inside guardrail.
Visit ARCARacing.com Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern time to see who is crowned Reese's sweet move of the race.
Just about 20 laps into this race, 20% of the distance. So again, we're going to have a race break around lap 50 for all these teams to make adjustments, change tires, and get set up for the second half of this race.
Well, that Lawless Allen story is really disappointing. He was running well inside the top 5 at a good start to this race. Runs into a car in turn 4 that was already sideways. Working our third caution here in Springfield. Back in Springfield, Illinois, the Springfield 100, race number 14 in the ARCA Menards Series season at the Illinois State Fair. 1 mile on dirt. It's been pretty fun so far. Early on, the 28 car was the car to beat. That would be Butterbean, our points leader, but the 70 has been strong since the drop of the green flag. How about a race analysis?
Yeah, 100 laps, 100 miles. You see we're going to have that race spread, as we mentioned before, on or around lap number 50. Our last 3 winners were Jesse Love, Brent Cruz, and William Sawalich. And you know the thing that's in common between Jesse Love in 22 and today?
What's that?
The crew chief on Brent Cruz's car is Shannon Rush, who was a crew chief for Jesse Love back in 2022.
Tell you what. Well, Brent Cruz oftentimes, of course, usually drives the 18. Matt Ross usually is crew chief. I said, are you going to talk to him today? He said, I'm not sure if I'm going. May, I probably will be. I'll be friendly. They are enemies today. Green flag back in the air after the third caution here. Butterbean tried the outside, but thinks better of it. Dives down behind the 70, and it's Brent Cruz in front.
Look at Kelly Kofsky hug up on the outside. Look at him lose all that ground. There's just no grip up there. Max Reeves sideways coming off turn 2, but he grabbed that 4th spot.
He said it would be entertaining and electric on dirt on this 1 mile oval, and it has been every bit of that so far in the first 4th of this race.
See LeVar Scott trying to work his way to the inside of Butterbean, not able to do it that time, but that's how the passes are made here. You try to get that nose underneath that car coming up off the corner and then beat him down the straightaway to the next corner.
LeVar Scott is there at the left rear quarter panel, the 28 of Butterbean. This is the battle for second behind the 70 of Brent Cruz, who extended his advantage out to nearly a second here off the restart.
See Kelly Kofsky has grabbed that 4th spot back from Max Reeves. Kelly in that 16 car.
You mentioned Grant Enfinger, who had a nice race Friday night in the trucks. Thought he had a top 5 truck. They tried something a little bit different with the tires late in the race. Ended up top 15.
Yeah, but a solid race. It didn't have, he was in a position he could gamble. He's already locked into the playoffs, which start obviously their very next race. So good to see Grant here, though. He always comes back to try to help Kelly, who's been his crew chief back in the early days in this series right here in the ARCA Series.
Even during his championship season in the trucks, Kelly Kofsky was on the box, he said, for a handful of those races during that championship season. So they have a great relationship. Fun to see Grant down on pit road earlier. Working lap number 27, the battle for second. The 28 of Butterbean trying to hold off LeVar Scott, and he's now extended that out a little bit here down the straight.
And Butterbean is doing a great job keeping that car right against that inside guardrail. And again, we talk about guys without a lot of experience. We mentioned earlier, Butterbean has a lot of experience. He's been a track champion before in a dirt late model, just not that many races. No races, ironically, in a car like this. But Max Reeves was high coming off the corner. May cost him another spot. That's the 25 of Sam Corey.
Sam Corey's a guy I know you really like. 17-year-old with a lot of talent there in that 25 car from Cornelius, North Carolina.
Yeah, started out at Millbridge and started out go-karts first, and then he went to micros and then transitioned into open wheels. He actually won the USF 2000 race at Indianapolis in 23, narrowly lost the championship last year in that series. He told me today that he's not doing any open wheel stuff now, trying to concentrate on stock cars, really doing a nice job, and as well as TA2.
He's your neighbor too, right?
Yeah, he lives less than a mile from me in Cornelius, North Carolina, but he's won this year in the Trans Am TA2 series.
Awesome. Awesome. A lot of talent for that 17-year-old. Running for Venturini in the 25. Larry Balsaitis on his pit box today. Max Reeves has fallen to 6th here after starting 2nd on the outside of row 1 at the drop of the green flag. Tim Monroe up in his 7th in the 11 car.
And one thing you have to be careful here, this track was pretty tacky when we started. You get a lot of mud on the grills of these cars. And most of these cars are running the Ilmor engine, and that engine does not like mud, does not like heat. It'll start detuning itself at about 225 degrees of water temperature because, remember, it's fuel injected. Some of these cars are running the spec engine, the Robert Yates spec engine, and that engine you can run a little more temperature. That's what the 18 of Max Reeves is running, is that spec engine. Kelly Kofsky as well.
Well, Frank Kimmel is the crew chief for the 97. Jason Kitzmiller, who runs 9th right now, and that was one of his concerns when we were chatting with Frank this morning, is the potential of overheating here today. See the 48 of Brad Smith, long veteran, more than 450 races in the ARCA Menards Series.
Brad running in the top 15 right now, doing a nice job. Still on the lead lap.
That's right, final car on the lead lap. On lap number 31 in the Springfield 100. Brent Cruz out front by nearly 2 seconds, followed by Brendan Queen, the points leader, who's got 5 victories. And LeVar Scott, who's a top 5 machine, runs 3rd in that 6 car.
It's so easy to try to get down in the center of these corners and try to feed that throttle to it, but there's just so little grip on this dirt track. Although it was funny, one of the guys down in the garage area says this track is shaped a lot like Milwaukee, except it has more grip than Milwaukee. Racetrack that the ARCA Series has visited on numerous occasions over the years.
Exactly. Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges with dirt track racing?
Just the feel and trying to get those rear tires hooked up, obviously, as we see a great pass by LeVar Scott for that 2nd position. Got by Butterbean. He might have used the lap cars to try to do that, and what an amazing job he did. There's Kelly Kofsky trying to make his way around the lap car of Michael Maples, the 99. Good battle behind them. You see the black car on the outside. That's Max Reeves trying to grab that spot back from Sam Corey. He lost that spot when he got high off of turn 2 a few laps ago. Now he's going to try to work to the inside. He's there on Sam Corey.
Going to take advantage of the lap car as well, and he does make the pass back into the top 5 for that 18 for JGR Max Reeves.
It's starting to get a little bit dusty out there, but nothing like I've seen this racetrack in the past. Good job by Max Reeves grabbing that 5th spot back.
We've had a lot of action in the first 34 laps of this race. As Cruz has had a couple of really nice moves to get from 6th all the way to 1st. We've had a good battle for 2nd, good battle for 5th. And moments ago was that battle for 2nd, and LeVar Scott still seeking his first career victory with a nice move.
Watch that lap car. You see Butterbean went wide around that lap car. He got up in the slick stuff up there. That opened up the middle of the racetrack for LeVar Scott. He took advantage of it and grabbed that 2nd spot. That's Max Reeves getting by Sam Corey, then has to move to the outside to get around that same lap car of Michael Maples.
Meantime, Brent Cruz running for Nitro Motorsports. If you're just joining us, obviously usually you see Cruz in the 18 car. Got a couple of wins on the season. This sort of a one-off situation running for Nitro here today at a 4-second lead on the field.
And we know how much Brent Cruz wanted to run this race. Remember, he's a regular driver, semi-regular driver for Joe Gibbs Racing, and that 18 car shares that car obviously with Max Reeves, but he really wanted to run this race, and he's got such a long relationship with Nitro. Goes back till he was just a little kid. And so they said, wait, why not? And Joe Gibbs Racing obviously signed off on it. And now if he wins this race, then they may want to go back and rethink that about letting him do that.
In that 18 car again in his races this year, he has had a lot of success with a win at Phoenix, as well as a win at IRP and a 2nd place finish at Iowa.
There's our 3rd place runner. Excuse me. Butterbean now has got back by LeVar Scott to grab that 2nd spot back.
Lamar coming off a top 5 at Springfield a year ago. Our best returning finisher was Isabella Robusto, who finished second here last year, but issues early on for the 55 car.
Yeah, I think some broken suspension has probably put her behind the wall and done for the day, unfortunately.
So it's Butterbean battling back and taking second back from the 6 of LeVar Scott. So that continues to be an interesting battle here. Lap 38 in the Springfield 100.
Max has been right around that top 5. The farthest back he's been is that 6th position. Remember, started on the outside of the front row, but that was at a disadvantage. Some places it's a good advantage to be on the front row. Disadvantage here, unfortunately.
He swung out wide and gave up a couple of positions on the first 2 turns.
It's such a disadvantage to restart on the outside on the dirt tracks that ARCA has created a rule that in the last 10 laps, if we have a restart, they will restart single file. And I think it's a great move because you don't want to penalize the guy that's worked so hard maybe to get the 2nd position and have to restart 2nd and maybe lose 2, 3, 4 spots.
Sam Corey started 5th. He currently runs 6th here on lap 39. Running for Venturini this afternoon.
They're getting a whole lot of experience here on this dirt track. Both those drivers, Max Reeves right in front of him. Both teenagers getting their first experience in a big heavy car on dirt.
First race of this season was at IRP for that 25 car. In terms of Sam Corey at the wheel, he was 13th at IRP, then 7th the next week in Iowa. Currently runs 6th. And again, Tim Monroe is the guy that pops up from time to time, particularly on these local dirt tracks, and running solidly there in 7th for the 11 car. 5 starts, 3 top 10s, his best finish of 8th.
Yeah, and he had top 10s in both races on dirt last year, here at Springfield and at DuQuoin. His best career finish came on the dirt at DuQuoin, where he finished 6th back in 2021. It's nice when Andy Hillenberg is able to plug somebody in like he's been able to do with Tim Monroe when they go to some of these places.
Running for Fast Track Racing, 3 Fast Track Racing cars today. Cosentino in the 10, Tim Monroe in the 11, and Matt Kent driving the 12. There's Sean Corr, 41-year-old from Goshen, New York, Empire Racing. Chevrolet, Adam Murphy on his box, and Sean Corr runs 8th.
Yeah, only his 2nd start of the year. We saw Sean early this year had trouble at Daytona. His best career finish came at Daytona just in 2023, where he finished 3rd. Former pole sitter at Daytona. But his background is more dirt racing up in New York and dirt modifieds. And Sean always puts a solid effort in when he comes to these dirt tracks.
So Corr runs 8th in the 8 car. Followed by the 97 of Jason Kitzmiller. We talked about Frank Kimmel, all-time winningest driver in the history of this series. He's been on Kitzmiller's box, and that's a fun combination.
We obviously talked to Frank down in the garage area this morning and said, man, he was been a little bit selfish here. He won 8 times at this racetrack.
There was an era, a short span, where he won 5 straight between here and the dirt track at DuQuoin as well. Kitzmiller, his driver, started 7th, currently back in 9th.
Frank told us that the guy that can drive this track the straightest will be the guy in victory lane. So right now I think that's Brent Cruz. He's driving the straightest. He said now all bets are off when you go to DuQuoin in a couple weeks. He said that's more like a traditional dirt track where you hang it out. But here at Springfield, you try to drive this track pretty straight, almost like you drive a NASCAR track.
So his driver, the 97 of Kitzmiller, getting around just inside the top 10. There's our leader, Brent Cruz in the 70, running for Nitro this afternoon. A 3.5-second lead on Brendan Butterbean Queen.
Yeah, Butterbean's picked it up a little bit since he grabbed that 2nd spot back from LeVar Scott. Hasn't lost any ground to Brent Cruz over the last number of laps. And we're inside of 10 laps to go to that race break. So hopefully Stephen Dawson can make some changes to that 28 of Butterbean Queen and maybe see if he can have something to go after Brent Cruz with.
It's about 6 laps away from that mandatory scheduled race break. There have been times in the past where they would do 2 of those, where on the 2nd one you could use strategy and stay out, try to get track position. But obviously only 1 here today at or around lap number 50 of this 100-lap race.
I love the discipline that Brent Cruz is showing right now. He keeps that left front fender right against the inside
guardrail, which is the fast way around this racetrack.
He's in a nice rhythm right now with a lead of 3.34 seconds. Brent Cruz in the 70.
Trying to make his way around the, I believe that was the 86 of Joe Cooksey. Joe's a long-time ARCA competitor. He's run a lot of the dirt races over the years here.
Down the road in Centralia, Illinois, 59 years of age, running a Ford for City Garage Motorsports.
The battle from second's going to heat up again.
It's been good between Butterbean and LeVar Scott. Scott got around him for a couple of laps, and then Butterbean battled back.
I think LeVar was going to try to use those lap cars maybe to try to gain an advantage on Butterbean. Not able to do it that time. See, Butterbean, don't leave the bottom of that racetrack open.
Try to hug that inside guardrail, but the 6 trying to stick his nose in there.
I don't think there was any room there, but LeVar Scott, maybe there was. So easy to overdrive this corner, though, and slide up off the bottom of the racetrack, and then you just lose that spot. But again, a lot of discipline right now by Butterbean to hold on to that spot.
LeVar Scott, we mentioned he's a top 5 machine. He's at 9 top 10, 10 top 10s this year. In fact, there was a time when he had 16 straight top 10s, and that streak came to an end at Dover when he finished 11th, had a tire that he cut early on in that race.
It's amazing that he was able to finish 11th with all the damage to that car. That's the same race we saw the 18 car of Brent Cruz cut a right front tire and hit the wall hard.
Scott working the back bumper of Brent, I should say, of Butterbean Queen here at lap 48.
Kelly Kofsky right there as well. You see Kelly, that's the 3rd car in line, running in the 4th spot right now. So Kelly Kofsky, he got to that lap car. Look where Kelly Kofsky is, way up the racetrack. He couldn't beat the lap car down to the bottom of the racetrack and had to pay for it up off. Look at LeVar Scott, thought about making a move to the inside. I'm telling you, if I was LeVar Scott, I think I would be happy. But staying right here in 3rd, that means he would restart this race after the race break on the inside, right behind Brent Cruz.
Mentioned earlier, all of his top 10s. It's actually 12 top 10s, and he's had a couple of 5ths recently at IRP in Iowa, and then 10th last week at Watkins Glen on that Friday afternoon race. So the scheduled race break, which will be our 4th caution, is coming at any moment here with Cruz out in front by 2.64 seconds.
Just a flawless race so far by this 17-year-old. What a bright future Brent Cruz has in NASCAR. We're hearing rumors that as soon as he turns 18, he might be jumping in an Xfinity car. We saw the same thing happen to Sawalich last year after winning 9 ARCA races in 14 starts.
Here's the caution scheduled race break. That 70 car, and again last week he was in the 18, dominated a Watkins Glen, and then on the last caution had an electrical issue which ruined his day. Came back later that night in the trucks and finished 16th.
Yeah, just there's so much talent. He dominated that race at Watkins Glen, that ARCA race. He had sometimes a 10-second lead. These are procedures for this race break. You're going to have 4 crew members allowed over the wall, which is no wall here, so allowed to service the car. You can change tires and add fuel. You just cannot do it simultaneously. And our restored order will be set by the order at the time of caution. So they basically freeze timing and scoring, and that's how they will restart unless they're not able to make the call and get back on the racetrack within those 5 minutes.
This is our 4th caution of the afternoon in the Springfield 100 scheduled race break. At the midpoint early on, it was Butterbean Queen, who's got 5 wins and leads in points with the lead, but then the 70, who started 6th here today, Brent Cruz, fought his way all to the way to the point, gunning for the victory this afternoon. Back here at the Illinois State Fair. temperatures in the 90s, but the crowds have been phenomenal here in Springfield, Illinois. Always love coming to this dirt track, 1 mile.
Is that Paul Bunyan?
I think it is Paul Bunyan.
You know, I grew up less than a mile from the Michigan State Fair, and I forgot how much fun it is to go to the fair. Yesterday was such a blast going to that concert last night. The first concert I ever saw in my life was just like last night in Michigan State Fairgrounds. The stage was set up in the infield, and you sat in the grandstands. Amazing time.
We didn't go on any rides or get funnel cakes, though, Phil. You kind of let me down on that.
I know.
It offset what you were able to do to get us in Def Leppard in those great seats. You know, but maybe afterwards we'll have to. The Tilt-A-Whirl, we both have, we've seen that a few times on our shots. It's a ride we both used to love, but I think as we've aged.
I can't do it anymore, yeah. Now, little kids can.
Little kids
but
can.
I can't do it.
Yeah, me neither. Cars out on the track here and getting set for the second half of this race. Brent Cruz leads in the 70 car, 17-year-old from Davidson, North Carolina.
That is our Sioux Chief fast track driver. 4 wins and only 14 career starts, maybe headed to 5 and 15, which would be a pretty good average. So he had 4 Truck Series starts. He finished 8th at Lime Rock earlier this year, but he was way up front and got shoved off the racetrack late in that going, and unfortunately didn't get as good a finish as he probably would have. But talented, youngest Trans MT 2 winner ever, youngest champion they've ever had. He's won the Cars Tour. Just multi-talented, whether it be pavement, dirt, road courses, whatever we got, he can do it.
You know, one thing about it, I was talking to him, the pit area earlier today. I said, what's the mindset coming off Watkins Glen where you dominated and have nothing to show for it because in the last caution, your car breaks down on you? He said, that's what makes it sweet. And I had to stop and think for a minute. Well, what he's saying is, with the ups and downs, when you do win, when you do finish off and everything goes your way, that's what makes those even sweeter.
And you remember his interview after the race, he said, I don't know, that may be the hardest, the toughest loss I've ever felt.
Yeah.
So for him to have that attitude, I mean, that's why he's going to go a long way.
And he came out and got 16th in the truck race later on that night. And that's, talking about having to bounce back. You don't have a few days to think about it. You have a couple hours and then you're back on the same track.
We talked about a little bit at the top of the show about how warm it is here. I mean, it's more than warm. It's hot here. And again, this is not typically a long race, 100 miles on the dirt track, but these drivers are working really hard, trying to keep the rear end of these cars underneath them in the corner. So this is a pretty good test right here of stamina for these drivers.
So we'll see if somebody has anything for that 70. And again, on the restart, it will be double wide. You said with less than 10 to go, if we have a restart, it'll be single file. But at this point, still double wide. And as you talked about earlier, that 28 car is in a tough position. He's going to probably just dive down, right?
As soon as he can. If there's an opening, if LeVar will leave him about a car width, then he's going down for sure. A car length, he's going to go down. So just a huge advantage to restart on the inside. But we saw Brent Cruz on earlier restarts be able to slide down behind Butterbean when Butterbean had the lead and grab that second spot back going in the corner.
Second half of the race here in the Springfield 100, 14th race of the season. First to 2 on dirt. Going to go around one more time before the drop of the green flag here. Coming off our scheduled race break at the midpoint. The 2 leaders so far have been Cruz in the 70 and Brendan Queen in the 28.
See how low LeVar Scott was running down the front stretch on the caution. That was to try to get a little bit of moisture. There's a little bit of moisture against the inside wall. Moisture is your friend when you get to a dirt track. Now, obviously, this morning when we had pretty significant rain, that wasn't your friend. But right now, moisture is your friend.
There was a tour bus that pulled down pit road today because there's a concert later, and it actually damaged the right front of that 6 car. And I heard somebody on the crew, it was a serious situation at the moment, but one guy at some point kind of joking, I've never had to fix a car before we even came out on the track yet. Unfortunately, yeah, there was damage to the right front, but they were able to fix that.
Now, would you say Butterbean's cleaning off his tires?
It feels like it.
Cleaning the dirt off his tires?
Well, something like that. He's got 5 wins on the season, trying to make it 6, but that 70 going to be tough to beat. That 6-car LeVar Scott, again, has yet to win. He was so close at Elko last year. He says it's led to a lot of sleepless nights. We'll see if he gets an opportunity to challenge for that first career victory here today. He's been solid so far.
Get close to the restart line. There's an orange cone on the inside wall where that restart line is. You can see it right there for just a glimpse. That's where the drivers can go.
Green flag back in the air.
The Butterbean said, I may have a car width and length, and I'm going to grab it. Great job by Butterbean to grab that second spot.
And Brent Cruz back to the front in the 70 for Nitro Motorsports. Lap 56.
Look at Max Reeves on the inside of LeVar Scott. Going to grab that third spot and make sure he doesn't overdrive the corner and slide up off the bottom.
Great run for Reeves. Can the 6 of LeVar Scott battle back here? No, Max Reeves with a great pass off the restart.
Really nice job. Spent the first 50 laps learning about dirt and these big cars and really made it work there. Kelly Kofsky lost a number of positions on this restart. He's back behind the 8 of Sean Corr.
And now Kitzmiller is trying to get to the rear bumper of that 16.
We're going to have a 3 wide situation down the backstretch. Kelly Kofsky is going to grab that spot, grab both those spots back.
Kofsky back in front of the 8 of Sean Corr.
I believe that blue and white car is Tim Monroe, who had a good restart and grabbed that 5th spot for a moment.
So Kofsky back in the top 5, Corr in 6th, and Tim Monroe runs 7th.
Kitzmiller now holds down the 8th spot. Sam Corey now has dropped back to the 9th spot. 9 cars on the lead lap right now. Even though Jason Kitzmiller is not one of the teenagers we talk about, but very little, if any, dirt track experience by Jason Kitzmiller. So he's kind of in the same boat as some of these kids that really have never been on dirt before.
Kitzmiller with a 3rd place at Daytona to kick off the season. He's also got a 5th at Talladega. So certainly the super speedways have been his friend. 6th at Elko and a couple of 8th place finishes at Dover and IRP.
He wants to forget about the road courses.
That was tough both times. It's been, especially last week late in the race, kind of a scary looking hit there at Watkins Glen.
There's Tim Monroe again. Tim Monroe holding down that 7th position, that blue car, blue and white car, number 11 for Andy Hillenberg. There's Kitzmiller. There's Sam Corey going to try to join this battle back. Remember, we saw Sam up in the top 5 early in this race, but again, I think he restarted on the outside, and that can be such a huge deficit, and he's trying to overcome that now.
See some of the dust starting to kick up now as this track continues to dry out after some sporadic rain throughout the night and then this morning as well. In fact, had a couple of downpours this morning.
Yeah, I just looked at my weather app and it said 10% chance of rain, and it started raining.
We got the 10%.
10%, yeah.
Lap 61, Brent Cruz out in front by 2.3 seconds. He's led 37 so far.
He's gained about a lap over the last 4 laps. Excuse me, a second over the last 4 laps at his lead over Butterbean.
Different cars, but same number and same team. We've seen that 70 at times be really good. Thomas Annunziata has a victory for 1.
Yeah, Drayton Lapsevich, remember, led every single lap in his win on the short track. So, yeah, 2 wins already this year for the 70 car. Again, they all come out of the same shop. Nitro, we documented Nitro Motorsports is buying the Venturinis. That's going to take place sometime in mid-October. And then it'll be Nitro Motorsports with some sort of a catchy team name or whatever. But right now, they consider this all one team.
And Big Bill Venturini is looking forward to retirement. We saw him down pit road. I know he's had a long, great career of running the ship, and I think he's ready to kind of shut it down and be more of a fan now.
Well, he said 59 days,
yeah.
So I think he's counting the days. But yeah, he's been a credit to this series. This series would not look what it looks like today had it not been for the Venturini family and the Venturini Motorsports, for sure.
Lap 63 with Cruz the advantage on Brendan Queen. And LeVar Scott runs 3rd. That's Max Reeves up in the top 5 running for Joe Gibbs.
Max has got better and better. He's definitely better this second half. than he was. He's not that far behind. That battle for second between Butterbean and LeVar Scott. There he is right there. Hasn't done a whole lot of racing since we saw him last in the ARCA Series. 2 or 3 late model races that he's run. But we'll see him again at Madison next week.
Caution out for the 5th time. With Cruz leading in the Toyota, followed by a couple of Chevrolets and Brennan Queen and LeVar Scott. Car spun out. Tony Cosentino bringing out the 5th caution. Cosentino, the 36-year-old from Mansfield, Ohio, running for Fast Track. Sorted out with the yellow flag out. And Cruz at the point in the Springfield 100 on FS1. Welcome back here in Springfield for the Springfield 100. The State Fair in Illinois. Always fun to be out here and always one of our favorite stops on the tour in the ARCA Menards Series. Certainly been a favorite stop of the 70 car and Brent Cruz so far today.
Without a doubt. You know, we talked about the fact that he's normally a driver for Joe Gibbs Racing in the 18 car. He's won 2 races this year in the 18 car, so I was a bit surprised when he jumped over to basically the Nitro Venturini camp to run this race. And I was talking to Nick Tucker, who owns Nitro Motorsports, and he said their relationship goes back till Brent was 7 years old. They started a go-kart program. That's how Nitro Motorsports got started in go-karts. And that's Brent Cruz right there as a 7-year-old driving for Nitro
How cute is
go-karts. How about that? And that relationship obviously extends on to today. He also runs the TA2 series. He was a champion for Nitro Motorsports in the TA2 series. So even though Brent's only 17 years old, this relationship started 10 years ago with Nitro Motorsports. So that's why the Gibbs folks allowed him to do that, because of that long relationship they had. And man, is he making it work here?
Yes, he is. He's made it work in the 18, making it work in a really fast car in the 70 today as well. LeVar Scott starts on the inside of row 2 in the 6.
Getting inside of 35 laps to go. It'll be 32 laps to go when we take the screen. These restarts are becoming more important. We talk about the domination of the inside. Let's take a look here. We saw Sam Corey right now, who lines up in the 9th position, that white car behind the blue car. He was up in the top 5 or close to the top 5. Probably 6th, and restarted and lost several positions on their restart by being on the outside. Let's see if he can get some of those back, because he will be starting on the inside now, back in the 9th position. All these guys on the inside licking their chops. Look at LeVar Scott. Inside 2nd row, does not want to give Butterbean the room. Watch these cars on the outside lose ground. Look at LeVar Scott. Sean Corr, the yellow car, losing ground.
3 wide off the turn. Kelly Kopsky in the 16 with a good restart.
Look how many positions Butterbean lost by restarting on the outside.
On lap 69, a sensational restart. We talked about the entertainment and electricity on this track, and we just saw it. The only non-drama would be the great restart again by 70 of Brent Cruz.
And Monroe again is going to grab that 5th spot for a moment. Here comes the 25. Sam Corey trying to work to the inside. Butterbean now is way back in the 7th position. Has not been farther back than 3rd this entire race. Sam Corey's able to make the pass on Tim Monroe. Now he will set his sights on that 18 of Max Reeves. Meanwhile, Butterbean, you saw him just for a moment get underneath that blue car of Tim Monroe. So Butterbean will grab one of those spots back, move him up right now to the 7th spot.
So Butterbean Queen all the way back to 7th off the restart. And you talked about starting from the outside, anything can happen. And a lot of those are bad things. And he dropped all the way.
Yeah, actually grabbed the 6th spot from Tim Monroe, so put Butterbean back up to 6th. Get a little more dusty as we go inside of 30 laps to go.
Lap 71, it's Cruz on Scott by a 2nd, and then Kopsky What a race by Kofsky. You documented it throughout the afternoon in that 16 car.
He took advantage of an inside restart. Probably the guy with the most experience out here, and he made it work. Good shot of Tim Monroe driving for Fast Track Racing, Andy Hillenberg, Sean Core, that 8-car Empire Racing group. Hopefully we'll see Sean some more this year, only his second start.
Yeah. And for Tim Monroe, this is the guy that finished 23rd at Phoenix, and we haven't seen him since then. So this would be fun if Monroe could not just get a top 10, but maybe sneak into the top 5 or 6. .29 to go here at Springfield. And now 28 laps with Cruz out front.
Brent Cruz right now about a 1.5 second lead over LeVar Scott, just over a second half. Sam Corey has been able to get by. There he is right there. That white car has been able to get by the 18 of Max Reeves to grab that 4th spot. Not trying to chase down the 16 of Kelly Kofsky. As meanwhile, Brent Cruz is cruising. I would say he's cruising.
What he does, nearly 2 seconds in front. Doesn't matter if he's in the 18 or in the 70. He's running for Gibbs or Nitro like he is today. The 70 of Brent Cruz going for the win in Springfield. Welcome back, hitting the stretch run, a shootout coming at the Illinois State Fairgrounds. Brent Cruz has got the lead, but several battles throughout the field. You see the 25 of Sam Corr has had a really nice afternoon to this point.
And Sam was able to get by that 18 of Max Reeves to grab that 4th spot. And there's Butterbean, top of your screen, that other black car. Remember, lost all those spots on that restart. Now he's trying to fight back right now outside the top 5.
Butterbean had a rough one 2 restarts ago, or I should say the last restart.
Look at Max Reeves all over. Uh-oh.
Sideways is that 25 car, Sam Corr, and there's Max Reeves.
Max kind of forced him to follow that lap car, forced Sam Corr to follow that lap car, took advantage of it and grabbed that spot.
20 to go. Good move by Reeves. Up in a 4th place now, following Kopsky in the 16. Butterbean trying to battle back off that restart where he started 2nd, but on the outside he got shuffled back all the way to 6th. Trying to get his way back into the top 5.
Butterbean's working on that 25 of Sam Corr. Going to try to get that nose inside of him. Max Reeves now has opened up several car lengths over Sam Corr. Butterbean trying to fight his way back. First, second, third was as far back as he's gotten this entire race until that restart.
Caution out, 6th of the day. So the yellow flag flies with Cruz the advantage on Lamar Scott and then Kelly Kopsky.
We're going to have a similar situation where, again, it's going to be a huge advantage for the guys on the inside, a disadvantage for the guys on the outside.
And you said earlier, it's not until the final 10 laps where we do the single file restarts, and that is a huge, huge difference as you've documented throughout the day. Jason
Kitzmiller, I believe, is stalled on the inside of the racetrack.
It's back-to-back tough weeks for the 97. Kitzmiller stalled, 6th caution, 18 to go here at Springfield. Cruz in front here on FS1. Back here at the Illinois State Fair in the ARCA Menards Series and the Springfield 100. Race number 14 of the season. We hit the stretch run of the season, hit the stretch run of this race, and let's go back to that last restart. Everything happened, Phil.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Look at Butterbean, the black car on the outside of the front row. Brent Cruz gets a great start. We get down to turn 1. Butterbean, obviously on the outside. He would love to get down in front of LeVar Scott. LeVar didn't give him any room. Watch, he starts losing ground. Look at him. Now he's on the outside of 3 wide, losing ground. He went all the way back, I think, to the 8th or 9th position on this restart. See him out there with his right sides up in the dust, and they just drive by him. Now he's trying to fight his way back. Right now, he holds down the. I think he's in the 6th position. He may have got to the line. Yeah, he's in the 6th position. He's on the outside road number 3. So something else for us to keep an eye on. Again, as you mentioned, single file restarts in the last 10 laps, but we're a few laps in front of that. So huge advantage right now to possibly Max Reeves, who is on the inside.
Yeah, if you're on the inside of row 1.
There's Max Reeves on the outside. Kelly Kopsky is the one that could have a big advantage. That's him, 2nd car on the inside, the 16.
Bottom line, if you are 2nd in line on the inside, you're definitely way better off than on the outside of row 1.
I would give a row up. If they had to choose and I was going to restart 2nd, I would give a row up to start on the inside in their 2nd row.
Off turn 4. Pace car pulls off. Car's back to speed. A shootout coming. Lamar Scott on the outside. Brent Cruz in the 70 on the inside. Green flag back in the air at Springfield.
There was a gap. Kelly Kopsky left just enough of a gap for Lamar Scott to get in there. Look at them 3 wide battling. The 18 sideways. And on it goes.
And gets into the 25 car. Sam Corr. Damage, and we'll get a caution here with Max Reeves in the 18. Devastating with 14 to go.
Caution flag is out. Look at all the damage to Sam Corey's car. Tim Monroe as well. Look at the damage to the front of his car, that blue car. These guys know how critical these restarts are. Look at, see Butterbean trying to get to the inside. They make a little bit of contact. Butterbean's able to go around the outside, but unfortunately Sam Corey with nowhere to go makes contact with the 18 of Max Reeves.
13 to go. Absolutely devastating for Sam Corey, who had a great afternoon going, obviously, for Max Reeves, the youngster with all the talent in the world. Started on the front row, dropped back, and then battled around the top 5 all afternoon long. The damage to the 25 of Corey.
I'm not sure Sam, he's falling back far enough now. Again, we only have 9 cars on the lead lap. I don't know if he'll come to pit road and let his team look at that. You don't have a whole lot of time, and this is not a traditional pit road. It's basically you're going to drive into the garage area behind the band stage. But Sam may elect to stay on the racetrack here, and because it didn't look like the tire was down, so it may be just cosmetic damage.
Caution with a wreck between the 25 of Sam Corey, the 18 of Max Reeves here at Springfield. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Reese's. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's Not Sorry. And by General Tire. Hashtag GT Delivers. Here at the Illinois State Fair, it is now officially a single file restart inside of 10 laps, and that is a huge break for the 6 car of LeVar Scott.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's going to be able to line up right behind Brent Cruz, get to the stay on the inside, hopefully, as long as he doesn't slide off that rail. Maybe he's got a shot at Brent here inside of 10 to go.
Brent has dominated most of the race after Butterbean Queen led early on the first 23 laps. It's been all Cruz in the 70 since. Green flag. Back in the air. It's a shootout here at Springfield. And a good launch once again for Cruz. LeVar Scott in second. Kelly Kopsky in the 16 runs third.
Butterbean's up to the 4th position now. Sean Corr is holding down that 5th spot. That yellow number 8.
Max Reeves runs 6th in the 18 for JGR.
Here comes Max Reeves. He's trying to get by Sean Corr. He's got the inside. He has position. And he's got it.
Good move there by Reeves. Back into the top 5 for him. We wondered if Scott on the single file restart would have anything for the 70. So far that answer is no. Brent Cruz has pulled away with 8 to go.
Let's document that Tim Monroe, who was having such a good run, had some damage for that incident, but got back on the racetrack, still holding down a top 10 spot.
Kopsky might have gotten into the inside rail there for a moment, but he's fine as he runs behind the 6 of Scott, trying to get to his rear bumper.
Max Reeves lost that spot. He went wide down there in 1 and 2, lost that spot back to Sean Corr. See that yellow car, Sean Corr now holds down that 4th spot. The black car, he actually got by Butterbean. Sean got by Butterbean. These drivers are giving everything they have right now, and it's so hard to, when that car slips up off the bottom, to maintain any kind of pace.
7 to go. Sean Corr runs 4th in the 8 car. We've documented throughout the afternoon that Corr has had a nice race, the 41-year-old from Goshen, New York. It's Brendan Queen in the top 5, but obviously he felt like he would challenge for a win here today. He's had a couple of struggles on restarts.
Just the wrong position on restarts, really. Nothing he actually did wrong other than just having to restart in the 2nd lane. Let's see. He can chase down Sean Corr, maybe try to get that 4th place back.
We've seen a couple of names we don't often see throughout the season in this series, and that would be Corr in the 8 running 4th, and ahead of him 16 of Kopsky.
I was looking back at Sean Corr's run a number of these dirt races over the year, but has not had a top 10 finish. He always runs better than that, but hasn't really put it together. This is a great run for him, though.
His 2nd start of the season, he was 36th at Daytona. Last year at Springfield, finished 11th. Last year, DuQuoin finished 17th on the dirt.
The Butterbean now. Sean Corr opened up that bottom a little bit. He's going to allow Butterbean to get there. Butterbean has position. As long as Butterbean doesn't overdrive the corner, he will have this spot. Well done.
Good pass there by Butterbean. Back into fourth. 4 to go here at Springfield. Our points leader with 5 wins on the season. Brendan Butterbean, queen of the 28. Up into fourth, and we'll try to chase down the 16 Akofsky.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. This is our best battle on the racetrack. Brent Cruz has opened up over a second and a half over LeVar Scott. LeVar Scott has a second and a half on Kelly Kofsky, who runs third.
4 to go. It's Brent Cruz in the 70 for Nitro Motorsports. With the advantage, he's had that advantage for much of the afternoon. The 17-year-old from Davidson, North Carolina. In the Nitro Toyota, Shannon Rush is crew chief. He's got a win at Phoenix. He's got a win as well at IRP, looking for his 3rd victory of the season. He's led 74 to this point.
But still an outstanding drive by that 6-car LeVar Scott. More than likely, unless we have a late caution, he will equal his career best of second. This will be the 3rd time that LeVar has finished second in the ARCA Menards Series.
Be his best finish this season. 2 to go.
And with the trouble that Lawless Allen had getting involved in an accident, could be a change in second position in points.
Started 4th, currently in 2nd here in the Springfield 100.
Kelly Kofsky, another outstanding job. I think 37 career starts Kelly Kofsky had before coming into this race. 35 of those have been on dirt between here and DuQuoin.
Pick up our leader off turn 4. White flag in the air, 1 to go at Springfield. Brent Cruz in the 70.
Couple lap cars in front of him, wants to be careful. 3 lap cars in front of him.
Down the back stretch he goes. Brent Cruz gunning for his 3rd win of the season.
That's Alex Clubb he's going by. Alex Clubb is running up in the top 10. Good solid effort for him, running 8th right now.
Absolutely. Into turn 3 goes Cruz. And Brent Cruz off turn 4 in the Springfield 100. Brent Cruz for Nitro Motorsports in that number 70 Toyota takes the checkered flag in the Springfield 100. LeVar Scott 2nd, Kelly Kofsky 3rd, and Butterbean finishes in 4th.
Great top 5 effort for Sean Corr. Max Reeves in his first dirt race ends up 6th. How about Brayton Laster, the 06? We haven't talked a whole lot about Brayton, but he's just hung around there, stayed on the lead lap, finishes 7th on the lead lap. Nice job for Wayne Peterson Motorsports.
Awesome. Brent Cruz wins the Springfield 100. His 3rd win of the season. And his 1st win of the season driving that 70 car. He drove the AT to victory lane at Phoenix, did the same thing at IRP. Finished 2nd at Iowa, 9th last week at Watkins Glen after dominating, but then an electrical issue very late in the race. And the burnout on dirt for Brent Cruz.
And the 3rd time that he's won on dirt here in the ARCA Menards Series. 2nd time here. He's also won DuQuoin. Guess who my early favorite would be for DuQuoin in a couple weeks, Brent? you think maybe Brent Cruz might be my early favorite?
He's got to be.
3rd win for the 70 car this year as well.
Annunziata got it done. Lapsevich as well. And now the 3rd different driver gets to victory lane in the 70. So cool to see, and what a great young man he is with so much talent. Brent Cruz. It's so cool to see. We showed you the picture earlier when he was 7 years of age in that Nitro outfit. It's been a long, very good relationship, and we were out there before the race. Everybody was just kind of excited. There was a buzz on pit road with him getting this opportunity, kind of a one-off situation, at least for the moment, and he paid it off in a big way.
Sure did.
So Cruz wins, and you talked about the troubles for the 20 car, Lawless Allen, who began the day second in points. Certainly we could get a change when it all settles out and we get it calculated, where LeVar Scott, with his best finish of the season in second, as you documented there late in the race, with an opportunity now to move ahead of Lawless Allen in points. So Cruz headed to victory lane. A feeling for Nitro. Let's head down to victory lane to hear from today's winner, Brent Cruz.
We are waiting for our winner to exit. Billy Venturini just walked by, gave us a playful hit. So we are waiting for the cue. And when he gets out of the car, we want you to raise the roof off of the place. Here he comes out of the car. Your winner is Brent Cruz. This is one time I don't mind getting a bath. Let's get a word from the 17-year-old here. And, buddy, this is win number 3 on the year, and I believe you wanted to coin last year. So now you put Springfield in your pocket. Talk about the run today.
Yeah, I just want to thank the good Lord above for keeping me safe. It was a hot day out today, and so happy to see all you race fans here coming to watch this race. This is one of my favorite races on the schedule. Actually, I won Springfield here 2 years ago, and then I won to coin last year. So, yeah. I've had a lot of success on the dirt. I just want to thank this whole Nitro Motorsports team. Everybody at Nitro and Venturini have done a great job getting this piece together. I want to thank everybody at Toyota Racing for letting me do this thing, JGR, everybody that's let me put in this position, and everybody at Nitro Motorsports did a great job, Nick, Shannon, and yeah, we had an absolute hot rod today. It was a blast to drive, which we would have been able to, get some practice and qualifying in, but I feel like that kind of worked out to our advantage. But just happy to be here, and thank you for all you race fans being here.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit, because we were in rush mode today. The early morning raid made this a different racetrack than we normally see. So talk about how that affected you and the crew getting the car ready to go and at the 50-lap race break.
Yeah, my guys grinded all week getting this thing exactly where it needed to be. These guys never stop, and they don't stop until this thing is perfect, and we load up as late as we can to keep working on this thing. So they've done an absolute amazing job. I'm super happy to be able to represent Pristine Auction here on my suit, and happy to have my spotter back Nacho here. That's my guy. So happy to be able to get us both in victory lane and be in the beautiful DeCoin.
So I got to ask you one question. You did the burnouts here, and then you disappeared. Did you forget where victory lane was at?
No, I've been here before, so no, I want to do a Polish victory lap. I used to do that in the late model stuff, and wanted to see all the amazing race fans across the whole racetrack, and I didn't want to miss any.
Congratulations today, Brent Cruz. Brent Cruz, your winner here at Springfield.
Brent Cruz for the win. Very good stuff, and a great young man he is, driving for the 70 for Nitro Motorsports in the Toyota, and his 3rd victory of the season, first time in the 70 car.
Again, there's we saw the Venturinis, Billy and Big Bill in victory lane. So all the same team right now.
Yeah.
We talk about Nitro Motorsports, but again, that essentially is the same team. just a different number. Some of the same inventory, same race cars and everything. So, but an outstanding job by Brent Cruz and Shannon Rush and that entire team. But here are the guys that have gone to victory lane this year, led by that 5 wins by Butterbean, and now we've got Brent Cruz with 3.
Lawless Allen at Talladega, disappointing finish for him today. Austin Green at Charlotte. Trayton Lapsovich, who drove the 70, same for Thomas Annunziata. So 3rd time this year that 70 car finds victory lane.
And remember last week, Tristan McKeon, his first ever ARCA start, only a week past his 15th birthday, goes to victory lane on the road course at Watkins Glen.
Max Reeves won at Elko. Disappointing 6th place finish for him today. Upcoming schedule here. It'll be Madison International Speedway, 9 Eastern, coming up next week.
Yeah, looking forward to that great short track battle up there in Madison, Wisconsin. Then back to the dirt.
2nd dirt track race of the year, 8:30 Eastern, August the 31st. That'll be Halloween weekend on a Sunday night. So next Friday, then the following Sunday night, then that final week off before the stretch of Bristol, Salem, Kansas, and Toledo to close out the season.
Yeah, obviously we saw LeVar Scott, I think take over the 2nd position in points, gained a point or 2 on Butterbean. So this thing is not over for sure.
In victory lane for the 3rd time this season is Brent Cruz, driving the 70 for Nitro, who's got that relationship with Venturini Motorsports as well. So Cruz with his 3rd win of the season, LeVar Scott 2nd, Kelly Kofsky 3rd. You know, disappointing in the end for Sam Corey in the 25, who settled for 13th place, and he had a top 5 car throughout the afternoon as you look at the unofficial top 10 here.
We talked about Brayton Lastro, last car in the lead lap, really did a nice job. Alex Clubb with a top 10. How about Brad Smith? You mentioned over 450 starts out. This may be his 2nd top 10 of his career. Congratulations, Brad Smith.
Well, that'll do it for us from Springfield. For Phil Parsons, our entire Fox Sports crew, I'm Brent Stover. Join us next Friday night, 9 Eastern, from Madison, Wisconsin, in the 70 car. Brent Cruz into victory lane. So long from Illinois.